What's going on, everyone? Hey, we're going to be showing you how to prune your fruit trees today. And so guys, first things first, you're going to need to have the proper tools. This is a pruning saw. You can get these pretty cheap. I can leave a link in the description to show you some of the saws I would recommend. These are pruning shears. Make sure that you have some alcohol, some rubbing alcohol. 70% is good. You're going to want to sanitize those in between your trees, okay? Just to prevent any type of cross-contamination or disease. We're going to go ahead and sanitize these now, just so I can show you how that works. I'm just going to pour a little bit on both sides here and just kind of shake that off. You can also boil them in boiling water is another way to sanitize them. But let's go ahead and jump into this, and I promise you by the end of this video, you're going to feel more confident than ever to prune your own fruit trees. All right, so I want to get this branch off first. There's not really any specific order, but this branch just really stands out to me because it's crowding out my center. That's what we want to get rid of right away. And so I'm going to come in here and cut, and all you're going to do is make sure you don't want to cut right up on the branch, okay? On this main scaffold branch, you don't want to cut it straight on. You want to leave a little bit of a stub here. So we're going to come and cut it about right here. And that's about a 1/4 inch roughly above that main scaffold branch. And I'm just going to cut slowly. And as I get close to the other side of this branch, I will slow down to make sure I get a good clean cut. Now listen, before we go any further, I want to show you one way to prevent the bark from splitting down the side of this scaffold here is you can either make a cut here at the bottom, right in the same alignment as that cut you've done on top. That'll help. You can also come up here and we can cut off the bulk of this branch right here to take off the weight, so that will also tear up. So we got this whole piece pulled out. Now I'm going to come in here and finish my cut. I'm going to have my son take over here in a little bit, and he's going to help do some more of the thinning out on this tree. So we got that cut, nice slant. We want that. We don't want to make any flat cuts. Water tends to sit on those flat cuts. This helps the water run off. So I've got all these extra branches coming here, okay? Basically, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these branches out. They're essentially useless, and they're going to suck away energy from this main scaffold down here. So I'm going to go here from this scaffold branch down to the bottom of this branch here. There's a little node here. We're not going to cut that node off. We're going to cut in front of it, just like this. And that is going to help that tree heal up really nicely and prevent any disease and things like that. Here's another example of that. I'm going to come all the way up to that node, just the front of that, right there, flush with the node. So we're going to cut this one off, the same thing. This one here, I also want to cut out. And you know, guys, when you're doing this, just it's kind of like an art. You know, there's not like this like perfect way to do it. It's more just you're going to remove branches that don't look good to you. Okay, now see how cleaned up that looks. All right, so there's a guy I was watching one time, and he called these hanger downers. Okay, so this is a hanger downer branch. These are useless. The same thing as we had on the other side. I'm just going to come up to that little node, cut it right off right there. I'm going to do some of these, and then I'm going to have my son take over. So all these branches that are coming up, they're facing inward into the center of our tree. We don't want those, even if they're fruit bearing like this. Okay, I want to take these out. So we're going to remove these ones on the inside. So here's another one that's facing inward, and as you go up, you'll see them. All right, so we got this big one here that's facing towards the inside as well. All right, so my son is going to continue this process of cutting these inward facing branches off. There you go. Another thing that's going to be great about opening this center up is that it makes it easier to prune your fruit trees. All right, so we're looking real good. Center of the tree's nice and opened up. If you look here, you can see we've got this nice open concept. Another thing to think about, guys, is you're creating this like vase shape, okay? Kind of like I guess a better word would be a wine glass, like an upside down umbrella. 45-degree angle roughly on your branches. That's going to create a lot of strength in your tree. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to come on the outside. I'm going to show you how to prune the outside of the branches, okay? So we're going to obviously leave, you know, some of these fruiting branches here, but we're going to get rid of the ones here that are going to be on the bottom facing side of that branch. So I'm removing these here, just like so. Even this one I'm going to take out, this one. And as we go up, you're going to see it's going to make more and more sense. Like here, this one. And then even if you feel like some of the fruiting branches are too close together, you can thin those out. But see here, now we've got these branches that are all facing this way. There's not any branches on the bottom side. Here we got one down here we can remove. We've got this nice direction going on, right? Where the branches are going out this way. We don't have any branches down here. They're going to be shaded out. All right, and as you're pruning, you're going to be cutting out dead branches as well as anything that looks diseased. So far, I'm not seeing any diseased stuff, so that's great. Now, this tree is pretty much done. It looks really good. Like I said, we got a nice open center on it. These are also inward facing. Yep. There you go. All right, so we want to keep our trees where they're at arm distance as far as height, okay? So how we do this, right here, we want to cut this about a 1/4 inch above an outward facing bud, okay? This bud is where the next branch is going to come out. If we were to cut it on this side where the bud is facing inward, it's going to make that branch grow inside. So we're going to come up here, find an outward facing bud right here, cut about a 1/4 inch above that. And so all these are pretty well the same heights. We're going to come around and kind of just look at our height here. So here's another one, finding our outward facing bud, cutting right there. That's going to make that branch come this way. We don't want branches going in, remember? We're going to make our way around. Here's our next one. Find an outward facing bud. Okay, right here is our outward facing bud. Make that cut. We can bring these down a little bit too. Just find those outward facing bud when you do it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and clean our pruning shears again. Just put a little alcohol, just like that, because we're moving on to our next tree. If you want a real simple and practical book that will teach you how to do a lot of this stuff I'm showing you, there's a book called Grow a Little Fruit Tree by Ann Ralph. I'm going to put the link in the description of this video. If you use that link, it'll help support our channel at no extra cost to you. And it's just a really good book. So in that book, she talks about how you can actually use painter's tape to tape off branches just to give yourself a visual. So that way, you can look at it. Like we had this tree over here. I had tape on it for, a day. So I could come and look at it and just make sure that I wanted to cut out these certain main branches, okay? So that's one thing you can do is you can tape where you're gonna make your main cuts. And that way when you step back, you can get a visual of your tree and kind of what that's gonna look like. These trees are about 2 years old now, I believe. They're doing really good. I planted them as bare root trees. And so they are just thriving. So we're gonna come in and start cleaning up these lower, like sucker branches, these hanger downers. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these first, just to kind of clean up this. They're not necessary, and they're just crowding out the bottom of these scaffold branches here. So I'm just going to take all these out. So I'm just going to continue to remove, dead or possible disease-looking branches, but also ones that are going to be facing inward. So this one here is a branch that's just not necessary. This one here. And then we're going to cut this one out. We're going to cut this one out here. So on this tree here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 scaffold branches. I'm probably going to end up removing this one as well. We'll take a look at the very end, but we just kind of cut as we go. And it's always good to remove little. If you cut off too much stuff, you can't go back. But if you just kind of remove little as you go, then it's better sometimes that way. So I'm removing this branch here. And you might ask why. I don't want these branches that are sticking straight up in the middle here. I want to open this inside. So I'm going to hold on to my branch. If you don't feel like doing that step, see, this is why we like to cut on the other side, because for this very reason. See how that bark's coming back? But it's all right. It'll be just fine. Now we've got our next one here that has the tape on it. I'm going to go ahead and remove that one. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, see here, guys, I've got this branch here that's coming out real nice at a 45 degree, roughly. This one is a center branch. It's on top of this one. So it's going to shade out this lower branch here. And it's also going to create a lot of shade in the inside of our tree, which we don't want. So that's why I'm removing this one. So I'm actually going to start cutting here. about a 1/4 inch above that scaffold branch at a little bit of an angle. And then now I'm getting closer to the edge. I'm gonna find my line here, about the same angle on the back side, just to prevent that bark from splitting there and going down the branch. We don't want that. And look, if this happens to you guys, see where you have a little bit of a rough cut, I can come back right here, just slowly remove that remaining bit that I missed. It's no problem. Easy fix right there. There's a little bit more here if you're OCD like me. All right, so this is our biggest branch here, okay? And it's wanting to be a main lead branch. We don't want a leader on this this nectarine. We want to keep this open concept, kind of like a upside down umbrella. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this. For a lot of people, this might be painful, but we want to give this tree the best overall chance of success. And so when you cut this out, it's going to strengthen this lower trunk of the tree as well. And so when you have storms come in, it's less likely to just break over. Now, as I'm cutting, I just remembered, guys, this is a lot of weight on this branch. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to cut this up here off first to take off a lot of that weight. Just like that. Look at that. Big old branch. Now we're going to go ahead and finish cutting this off here. Okay, we're getting close to this backside, so I'm going to go ahead and make my little cut here to prevent that bark from splitting down the side of that scaffold branch. And there we go. All right, so I want y'all to see how much difference this has made already. Opened up that center real nicely. Tons of sunlight coming in already. Okay, and I know that seems like a severe cut, but I promise you, these types of cuts are going to really help these trees in the long run. We're going to keep on working on cleaning up this tree and cutting out inward facing branches, okay, all the way around. So now my son, he's going to work on cutting out this branch here. I think we've decided that we're going to cut this one out, we're going to cut this one out, and we've decided that we may end up just keeping having 5 scaffold branches on this nectarine, just because it looks real pretty and it's got a real nice look already. So we may end up keeping this as a 5th scaffold. So any of those like vertical branches that are coming up or facing inward, we're going to just take out.
Well, you need to cut this one right here.
Yeah, you're right, son. See, he's getting better at eyeballing this stuff. That's all it is. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get and more confident. And that's what I'm saying. Just make sure you watch all the way through so you can kind of see how we work pruning different trees here. All right, we're gonna start removing all these branches that are on the bottom sides of these scaffold branches that are coming up. So all these front facing ones. And also if you got branches that are going in, they're just gonna get crowded out by these, so you can go ahead and just remove those.
Both got cuts and we don't even know how.
Yep. You got 2 branches, you don't want them stacked, right? We don't ever want branches stacked, so you're gonna have to decide if you want to cut the bottom or top one out. I always go with the top one because you want that lower, nice 45-degree angle, and this one's gonna crowd out the center. We want an open center. I know I keep saying that, but that's what it's all about. So these 2 branches from these 2 main scaffold branches that are come up, see how we got these that are crossing. You don't want branches to cross like this. What we can do is we either remove one or we can remove both. I'm gonna go ahead and just take out this one here. Now that's opened that up, we don't have any branches crossing. I'm gonna keep making my way up this as well, the front side of this branch on this side, cutting out the branches that are directly underneath. So we are going to take this one out because it's just going to create more shade in the center of our tree, and it's going to shade out this bottom branch right here. Another way to prevent splitting of the bark down here is to simply hold on to the branch like this and kind of pull up a little bit. You'll see here, if you're lazy and don't want to make that bottom cut, this is what you can do. Boom, just like that.
Cutting the tops now.
Make our way all the way around. Just kind of finding those outward facing buds there. We're just looking at our height as we go around and then finding our outward facing buds. So we got 1, 2, and 3 branches coming off this main scaffold here, okay? We have to decide if we're gonna take this one out or this one out. Me and my son both agreed that we think this is the best option. That's gonna open up sunlight here. It's also gonna allow this branch to do its thing and thrive better, not be shaded out by this one. I'm gonna go ahead and make a cut down here. Just like that. Beautiful. Look
There
at
you
that.
go. That's open.
And then we've got this branch here. Get that out of the way. This one's on the underside. So we got these 2 branches, right? One of them is crowding out the other. So we either gotta cut this one out or cut this one out. This one over here, this branch is kind of the same, you know, more or less the same shape, or like, you know, and we can actually weigh this down and bring this branch out over time if we wanted to with weights. We're gonna go ahead and cut this one out. This is a good, nice, strong branch. So we're gonna keep that one, and we're gonna remove this lower one here. Hey, this right here is a native mulberry tree that we also pruned the same way, like I was saying earlier with the peach and the nectarine. Open center, nice, you know, upside down umbrella look right here, like a champagne glass. Beautiful. Hey, if y'all enjoyed the video, as always, give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment down below and let us know what pruning methods you like to use when you're pruning your fruit trees. And until next time, God bless y'all in Jesus' name. Bye-bye. Oh!